So that's Johan, the director and scriptwriter of Dreams. I actually wanted to call you on stage, but you just came with me. That's really fine. It's so nice again to have you here with us. For the audience, there are also 2 microphones in the screening hall on each side, so you're really warmly invited to ask questions. If you want to just raise your hand when the microphone comes to you. But I will start, of course, also that you have some time to come back. And I was thinking, I had this feeling like your Dreams is it's like a deeply humanistic film. Like I feel you have sympathy for the characters, but also I feel like you're a person, you like humans, right?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So you're interested in their feelings and their behavior, you observe them.
Yeah, and the way they talk. Also interested in how they are thinking and how we are thinking while we are talking,
Yeah.
Trying to find out what to say while we are thinking, yeah.
Yeah, actually I heard in an interview, also want you to ask this, but first, that you've developed the characters of the script by thinking about the actresses.
Yeah.
But also that sometimes you sit down in the public sphere in Oslo, I don't know,
Yeah.
and then you just listen to the conversations of the people that are surrounding you.
Yeah.
Is there really some phrase or sentence or that ever made it into your movie that came from one of these conversations around you? Or is it just an inspiration?
It is first and foremost inspiration, but I think there is something somewhere that, it's going directly into the script. I think so. It usually is. But I like it a lot to sit, on cafes and listen to conversations. Just trivial, everyday conversations can be very inspiring.
Yeah. And this about thinking or developing the characters, thinking about the actresses, because you said it several times in interviews, and I always was wondering, what does that exactly mean? Do you write the character and then you go, you have the actress in mind, you write the character and then you go to her and you start talking to her about the character and then you develop it together, or just how do you do it?
Normally, this is the thing that has been happening because this is part of a trilogy. And when I started to write that, I thought I making 3 films at once would give me the possibility to work with a lot of actors. And then that I've been working with before. And I thought it would be interesting to try to think of new characters that they haven't been playing before, give them a challenge maybe, and challenge myself as well. So then I started to writing for these particular actors. And since I know them quite well, I know how they speak, I know what kind of phrasing they are using, and I thought that was quite useful to me. And then I wrote the script, and then I sent it to them, and asked them if they wanted to read it and maybe be a part of it. And then they gave me some feedback, and I rewrote it, and eventually when we got the funding to do it, we sat around, had a round table reading and discussed it.
All together or just one character? And sorry, so much.
No, for this film, it's different from different films. But for this film, because it's so much voiceover, it was just me and the actor, Ella Elby. Yeah.
Are there questions already?
Thanks so much for this beautiful film. I really loved it, and I have a big question. So I have also a comment. I feel that this is a film from another time, almost.
Yeah.
And it feels so beautiful and wonderful to see it at this Berlinale. And I want to ask you, with everything going on right now in the world, and this is what I mean. It feels like a film from maybe some years ago, but not from today. How, and as you already mentioned also wonderfully, how do you manage to keep so much love for humanity and for this world and produce such a light, beautiful, almost spring-like film in this winter festival?
No, thank you. I don't know how this film will have been developed if I haven't wrote it now, because things have changed. Things are changing very, very fast. But it wasn't that different when I wrote it. But if I'm going to make a film about the first love and a teenager that falls in love for the first time, it has to be positive in a way, because I think that's a positive thing. And when I think about my first love, I remember it quite vividly. Then, it was an all-consuming thing that was really changed my world. So that's, I think that's very positive and life-affirming in a way.
A teacher?
Not a teacher.
No. Was a teacher? No.
No, it wasn't.
So,
Could have been.
yeah. So I was also like wondering, the film, there's so much talking, but still it's really a sensual movie, like, I don't know, kind of hot even. I was wondering why. Do you know, how did you do that? I thought also because of the knitting.
Yep.
Like the material, the warm material,
Yeah.
the coziness.
We were working a lot with that, with the wool is so tactile, and it photographs quite well because it's so warm and feels good on the skin, and we worked a lot to get that feeling into the pictures or in the film, and so me and my set designer, we were working with some textile artists that has made this. Some of the wool you see here, or thread as they call it, they are very particular. If it's wool or that's for knitting, thread is for art. Yeah, so that's different.
So what's the
Well, thank you for the movie. It's astonishing that there's a completely absence of man, nearly. How did you feel directing this movie, or getting yourself, your position into this movie, and why is the last person the psychologist, and why is a man?
Yeah. Can I just say, because I have been, a lot of people have been asking me that, and I wonder if, when they see a movie with many men, if they ask why there's no women in it. But I thought it's about 3 generations of women, and that was enough. I didn't have any use for a man. And the psychologist, since it's a trilogy, he is in all the 3 films. So that's why he's a man, because it's really important in all of the films that he actually is a man. But it could have been a woman who played it if he wasn't, like a character that comes again in the next 2 films.
So, I was also wondering about the scene where the grandmother and her daughter, they walk through the woods and they're like talking about Johan and her story, but also about flash dance and so on. And it has such a nice like wave, Sometimes they are even fighting, and you're like, oh, no, I hope they're not fighting, and they separate, but they are not. I mean, they fight, and it seems like a really nice conversation culture. So it's like fighting is also accepted.
Yeah.
I was just.
You can maybe you could call it a heated discussion, because I don't. Yeah. But I think they are quite close, all 3 women in this little family, and I think they really don't agree very much, the daughter and the grandmother, no, the mother and the grandmother, but and they are very different because they're from different generations and they look upon the world very differently, especially politically, probably. But I think it's nice to show that you can have these discussions without falling off and being close as well. I think many people are. They don't agree, but they love each other because they do.
So, any more questions?
Yeah, I was just a bit curious. Do you have the idea in your own mind? Obviously, it's left a bit ambiguous of how much between Joanna and Johan actually happened as she tells it versus how much Johan tells it at the cafe. Like, do you feel that that's Johan just covering her ass in a way? Or do you feel that that's how she actually feels and sees what happened?
I think that because this film is so extremely subjective in a way, everything is sees through Johanna's eyes. And she is really controlling the whole story. She's controlling the film. You know, she stops the film even. So we don't really get to know what has happened or what has not happened. But I think that this last scene, which might to some seem a bit absurd, you know, with the mother and the teacher, it's obvious that she is defending herself. So I think that something must have been going on. But if it has been going on in her mind only, that we don't know. Because I think you can defend yourself on your forbidden thoughts as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
So perhaps you could tell us a little bit. Was there?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you for the beautiful movie from my side as well. I was wondering about the thought process, why you decided that this was going to be a queer story, and why she was falling in love with a woman, and I don't know, I guess it's kind of the universal queer experience to fall in love with your English teacher at one point, but so I was wondering what the idea behind that was, that it's not a male teacher that she's falling in love with.
Yeah, I think if it was a male teacher, it would be very, very differently. We would have, I think, perceived it very differently, probably. But it is, you know, as I said, it's part of the trilogy, and all the three films has a queer theme, so it was important that it should be like that. And I don't know if, you know, if we have, I think it would have been a quite different movie if the teacher was a man. It would have been a Me Too movie, maybe more. Yeah.
But still, they have this conversation, grandmother and daughter, and like the mother saying, "Oh, it's a story of queer awakening," and the Johanna, she says, "No, I mean, I didn't label it like this before. It's just my first love, you know."
Yeah.
That I found quite interesting. Also, like the generations, how they perceive and label and talk about things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's true, and you know where Johanna is right now. She's just focused on, you know, the object of desire in a way, the woman she's in love with, and she's not thinking so much about labeling or her identity if she is going to declare herself as one thing or another. Maybe later on, maybe after the last scene, maybe she will think about that. Maybe that will be or feel necessary for her. But and I think it's interesting, probably, that mother is, you know, she sees that this minority issue can be also commercialized in a way. Yeah.
So perhaps like you could just comment on the trilogy
Yeah.
a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
what's like the whole idea behind it?
Yeah.
And actually, also there's going to be a cinema release in Germany, so we can.
Yeah. It's the three films that they are called Sex Dreams, Love, and they all about the same. You know, it's different perspectives on the same themes and topics, and different characters in all the films. So they are. You can see that they have very much in common. You will see that if you see all the three films, but they are also meant to be very different. So, and they are really. And when I talk to people who have seen them, they are, you know, they don't agree on which film they like the most, and you know, yeah. So they are. I think they are very different.
So.
They're all about Oslo, though.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming and